chosen these two pieces because, for two reasons. They are both masterpieces and I love them. But more importantly, they have been world premiered in the same year within 4 months distance, like in 1889. And this is so unimaginable. If you hear these two pieces, you wouldn't believe that. That's the same moment in musical history that this is happening. Richard Strauss, by the time he was 24, a youngster, writing this masterpiece, Don Juan, and he felt himself a little bit like Don Giovanni, I think. And on the other hand, César Franck, 67, a year before his death, writing his masterpiece, his testament, his D minor symphony. So they couldn't be more far from each other, and they've never met. But they had been influenced strongly by Richard Wagner's music. And this influence has been really like the most decisive and important fact for them, both. He really would reinvent the entire structure of symphony. Like normally you have a 4 or 5 movement symphony by the time it was absolutely the normal thing. And he did 3. Why? Because he fused the second and the slow movement and the scherzo. He played that simultaneously in one movement. So he brought it like you would just do this collage together and then, okay, see what's coming out of this. It's a fantastic movement. It starts with slow harp chords, very sinister. We don't know what's all would be about. And then it's this melancholic cor anglais starting his song. And basically, we understand, okay, this has been an accompaniment to the missing melody. Okay, then he starts. And then after a while, beautiful, wonderful counterpoints also. And then it starts suddenly in the strings, whisper. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, scherzo. 1, pom, 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 pom. So, okay. And then the harp and the cor anglais is coming back and they fuse together and they bring this movement to an end. Sensational. And then is coming a very joyful outburst of joy finale. And in many ways, it reminds me always to Beethoven #9, to the Symphony of Joy, Schiller, Ode of Joy. also in the same key, basically, Ré Menor, D minor key. And yeah, so it has the same journey. Like all the subjects from the previous movements are coming back in the finale, being juxtaposed. So wonderful idea also. Bruckner does the same thing in the same period, also an organ player, also Wagnerian. So there has been something around in the 80s of the 19th century. César Franck, there are some similarities with Bruckner's music, because you could, I don't think he studied them, the Bruckner symphonies, and they were created in the same time, basically. And but you could really say, okay, coming from the organ as an instrument, bringing this in an orchestral sound is the same way, actually. And also Bruckner had that. So he's doubling. There are many, many doublings. And that makes it also difficult, also intonation-wise. And the brass is always going with the double basses and with the woodwinds, and like constantly as a block. And that makes it difficult, because that's an organ manner, and Strauss is much more refined. You have individual colors much more. And here is a block, and it has to blend. And also we have less strings still due to the pandemic than we would wish for. So like even gives it more difficulty to balance it nicely out. But that's, I like that. It's an interesting style he has. And Strauss, there isn't anything like this, like the beginning of Don Juan. I mean, this is unforgettable. If you ever hear this for the first time, you'll never forget it again, because it's such an uproar, this vigorous energy. Like he starts it even with an open one. There's nobody playing on one. It's just the conductor's beat, and then it's explosion, and like such a virtuoso start. I mean, he would. This adrenaline of this man, Don Giovanni, I mean, you could really feel this supernatural energy, like fascinating guy, obviously. And it is such a sensation, even now in the concerts, 130-something years after its world premiere, you still feel this is a sensation, this piece. And funnily, when we were playing it yesterday for the first time in rehearsal, I was just smiling at them, because the strings, they know it backwards. They know it because they played all these horribly difficult passages. They have been playing them, training them, preparing them for years and years and years, all of them. It's like super difficult. It's one of the, even now, it's one of the most difficult things to do on the string instrument, also with the speed. And technically, it's just super, exigent. And they have won all their jobs, actually, in any orchestra in the world. It is in the audition, if you're looking for a second violin or a viola, or you ask for Don Juan, and they have to play it. Everybody has to play it to get in, have access, and to finally be part of a wonderful orchestra. This is Don Juan. And so if we were starting Don Juan, so there was always a smile, because, they felt safe and happy. Also to play it again is just nice. it is two very interesting, two very diverse pieces, and suddenly, but born in the same moment, and also this roots of Wagnerian influence, which has been a bit everywhere in musical world, but you could really feel that in this hour of music.